One of the first things many visitors notice when they arrive in Kyoto is this: it is not immediately clear whether they should take the bus or the train. The route maps show several different railway and bus operators, and at bus stops, you may see dozens of route numbers listed side by side. If you try to research every option from scratch, even planning your day can start to feel unnecessarily complicated. In reality, you only need one simple rule of thumb: choose the right type of transport for each destination. Once you understand that, getting around Kyoto becomes much easier. In this video, I'll show first-time visitors exactly which transport options to use for Kyoto's major sightseeing areas. As a professional tour conductor who has planned many Kyoto itineraries, I'll share the practical choices that help you avoid wasting time. When researching transportation in Kyoto, you may still come across advice recommending a one-day bus pass. However, Kyoto's bus-only day pass was discontinued in March 2024. Because this information still appears on some travel websites and guidebooks, many visitors continue to look for it after arriving in Kyoto, only to become confused. So what should you use instead? The answer is simple: use the IC card you already have, such as Suica or Ikoka. IC cards can be used on most buses, subway lines, JR lines, and private railways in Kyoto. Each fare is deducted automatically, so you do not need to worry about carrying exact change or taking extra rides just to make a pass worthwhile. You may wonder whether a day pass would still save you money. The main alternative for visitors is the subway and bus one-day pass, which costs 1,100 yen for adults. In practice, you would usually need to take around 5 or more paid rides in a single day before it starts to feel worthwhile. For many sightseeing itineraries, that simply does not happen. And if your day is busy enough to require that many rides, focusing too much on getting your money's worth can take away from the enjoyment of the trip. In most cases, it is easier and more satisfying to pay as you go and enjoy your day at a relaxed pace. All you really need is one IC card and the right transport choice for each destination. That is what I'll explain from the next part. Some sightseeing spots in Kyoto are much faster and easier to reach by train than by bus. These three are the clearest examples. For Arashiyama, the JR Sagano line takes you from Kyoto Station, Saga Arashiyama Station in about 15 minutes. If you are coming from Kyoto Kawaramachi Station, the Hankyu line takes around 25 minutes to Hankyu Arashiyama Station. By contrast, taking a bus from Kyoto Station can take close to an hour, depending on traffic. If you want a journey you can plan with confidence, the train is the better choice. JR Saga Arashiyama Station is located on the northern side of the Arashiyama area, making it convenient if you want to visit the bamboo grove. Hankyu Arashiyama Station, on the other hand, is located on the southern side of the area, close to Togeitsukyo Bridge. Which station you should use depends on where you are staying and where you want to begin your visit. If you would like to start with the bamboo grove, choose JR. If you would prefer to begin around Togeitsukyo Bridge, choose Hankyu. For Nijo Castle, Nijojome Station on the subway Tozai line is just a short walk from the castle entrance. From Kyoto Station, take the Karasuma line to Karasuma Oike Station, then transfer to the Tozai line for one stop. You can go by bus, but the subway is usually faster and far more predictable. For Fushimi Inari, take the JR Nara line from Kyoto Station. Inari Station is only 2 stops away, and the ride takes about 5 minutes. As soon as you exit the station, the torii gates are right in front of you. Taking the bus to Fushimi Inari means going through Kyoto's busy city streets, so JR is by far the simpler choice. From Kyoto Station, use platforms 8, 9, or 10 for the JR Nara line. One important detail: Inari Station is a very popular stop, but only local trains stop there. Rapid trains pass through, so make sure you board a local train. What these three places have in common is simple: the train or subway station is very close to the destination. In these cases, there is very little reason to choose the bus. When in doubt, take the train. Choosing the right transport can make a major difference to how comfortable your day feels. If you found this video helpful, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Next, I'll explain how to navigate the areas where buses are often necessary and how to avoid the worst of the crowds. Kinkaku-ji Temple, Kiyomizu-dera Temple, and Gion are areas where many visitors end up using the bus. However, Kyoto's buses have one major challenge: during peak sightseeing hours, they can become extremely crowded. You may wait at a bus stop, only to see a full bus pass by without stopping. Even the next bus may arrive in the same condition. From midday through the early evening, the main routes serving popular sightseeing areas are often at their busiest. There are two practical ways to reduce this stress. The first is timing. Kinkaku-ji Temple, Gion, Kiyomizu-dera Temple are usually more comfortable early in the morning, soon after they open. If you visit before the crowds build up, both the sites and the buses are easier to manage. For these places, it is best to plan your visit for the early part of the day. The second is adjusting where you board and which route you take. Kinkaku-ji Temple is not close to a major train station, so the bus is often the most practical option. However, instead of simply returning on the busiest direct route, consider heading in the opposite direction first and using a different connection, or walking to an earlier bus stop before boarding. These small adjustments can make the journey smoother. From Gion, Kiyomizu-dera Temple, another good option is to walk toward Kawaramachi Gion Shijo Station and switch to the train. This can often be more comfortable than waiting for a crowded bus. A packed bus can quickly drain your energy. Being unable to board at all is even more frustrating. With a little planning, you can avoid the worst of the congestion and enjoy Kyoto at a much more relaxed pace. An IC card, combined with trains and buses, will cover most of your transportation needs in Kyoto. However, there are certain situations where taking a taxi is clearly the more practical choice. The first is when you want to take a shortcut between sightseeing areas. For example, if you are going from the Kiyomizu-dera Temple area to Fushimi Inari, returning all the way to Kyoto Station and transferring to the JR line can add unnecessary time. Fushimi Inari is located to the south of Kiyomizu-dera Temple, so in this case, taking a taxi directly between the two areas is often faster and more comfortable. The second is evening travel. After spending the day walking around Gion or the Kiyomizu area, waiting for a crowded bus can feel especially tiring. In the evening, taxis are often easier to find in these areas, so it is worth considering one when you are tired. The third is group travel. If you are traveling with 3 or 4 people, the cost per person can be quite reasonable. The same applies when you have a lot of luggage. The fourth is summer. Kyoto is surrounded by mountains, and the summer heat can be intense. If walking between places or waiting at a bus stop in the heat feels too demanding, taking a taxi is a sensible choice. In Kyoto, taxis can often be hailed on the street, and you can also use apps such as Uber or Go. Language barriers are usually manageable. Simply show the driver your destination on your smartphone map. Trains and buses should still be your main options, but knowing when to use a taxi can make your day much smoother and more comfortable. Let's summarize the key points from this video. You do not need a bus-only day pass. For most public transportation in Kyoto, one IC card is enough. When visiting each sightseeing area, Google Maps is usually a good starting point for choosing public transport. However, depending on the time of day, buses in particular may involve long waits, or they may be too full to board. When that happens, consider walking to a train station, choosing a different route, or changing the bus stop where you board. Taxis are especially useful for shortcuts between sightseeing areas, evening travel, group travel, luggage, and the summer heat. Getting around Kyoto does not have to be complicated. Once you choose the right transport for each destination, you can reduce both confusion and fatigue and enjoy the city at a more relaxed pace. I hope this video helps make your time in Kyoto smoother and more enjoyable. If you would like more practical travel guidance for Japan, please subscribe so you do not miss the next video. And if you have questions about transportation or itinerary planning in Kyoto, Tokyo, Osaka, or other areas of Japan, please leave them in the comments. I do my best to respond to every question. For those who would prefer to have their entire itinerary planned by a professional, I also offer a private guide service. You can find the details in the description.